Hey guys, tonight we settle gently into the slow, steady rhythms of daily life on a Viking farm in quiet Scandinavia. Imagine the dawn breaking over misty fields, the cool, crisp air filled with the earthy scent of pine and damp soil. The soft sounds of roosters crowing and distant waves lapping greet your ears as the day begins not with clashing swords, but with quiet routines and humble tasks. You probably won't survive this journey if you're expecting daring raids or thunderous battles. But if you're ready to drift into the calm story of Viking farming life, you're in the perfect place. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And don't forget to post your location and local time in the comments. It's a cozy way to know where we're all slowing down together. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. Viking farmers lived lives deeply connected to the land, their days ruled by the cycles of nature. Far from the popular image of fierce warriors, many Norse people were hardworking agriculturalists tending their crops and animals. Archaeological finds show that these farms dotted the fjords and valleys, simple yet efficient. Here's a quirky tidbit. Some Viking farmers used sunstones, crystals believed to locate the sun on cloudy days, to help with navigation, even on land. Historians still debate whether these stones were more myth than reality, but it's a charming reminder of how the Vikings blended practical knowledge with mystery. As you sink deeper, picture the longhouse walls sheltering generations, the smell of burning peat, and the soft crackle of morning fires, steady heartbeats of a quiet, enduring way of life. You're now wrapped in the soft dawn of Viking farm life. So let's walk slowly into the longhouse, the heart of the household, and the stage for countless daily stories. Picture a sturdy wooden structure, its timber walls darkened by smoke and time, stretching lengthwise along the rugged Scandinavian landscape. The roof, thatched with straw and reeds, shelters a warm, bustling interior. Inside, the longhouse is a world in itself. The central hearth crackles, sending flickers of gold dancing on the walls, while the smell of burning wood and roasted meat fills the air. Animal skins and woven tapestries hang along the walls, their indigo and russet hues glowing softly in the firelight. Long benches run along the sides, where family members gather for meals or quiet conversation. Families were large, often multi-generational, sharing this common space not just for warmth, but for the rhythm of life, spinning wool, crafting tools, and telling tales as the northern twilight deepens. Despite the flat medieval perspective of the time, you can almost feel the depth of love, labor, and stories embedded in these rough-hewn beams. Here's a quirky detail. Some longhouses featured a small raised platform called the high seat. Reserved for the head of the family, a modest throne of honor and authority. Historians still debate how strictly these social hierarchies were observed in such intimate spaces, but the symbolism is clear. Imagine the flickering shadows and the murmur of quiet voices, the gentle clink of wooden cups. This longhouse is more than shelter. It's a cocoon of everyday Viking life. You're settling deeper into the steady pulse of Viking farm life as the day truly begins. Picture yourself trudging alongside the first light, when the sky blushes with soft saffron and teal hues. The air is crisp, and the earth still moist from overnight dew. As you start the morning chores that anchor the rhythm of the farm, animals stir quietly, cattle lowing softly, chickens rustling in their coops, and sheep bleating in the distance. Your breath forms little clouds as you make your way to the barn, wooden buckets in hand, ready to draw fresh milk. Feeding, watering, and tending the livestock is a daily ritual, a slow dance of care and necessity. Out in the fields, there's the familiar scrape of wooden tools breaking the earth, the rustle of grain swaying in gentle breezes. You might spot a farmer clad in russet or indigo tunics, leaning into the task of turning soil or sowing seeds with patient hands. The steady repetition of work is both grounding and soothing. Here's a quirky tidbit. Some Vikings believed that whistling while working could summon the wind to help scatter seeds. A playful mix of superstition and hope. Historians still argue whether such beliefs were widespread or simply charming anecdotes passed through generations. As you breathe in the cool morning air, feel the quiet camaraderie of the farm, the intertwined lives of humans, animals, and land moving gently through time, weaving a peaceful tapestry. You move forward with the sun climbing higher, ready to explore the farming techniques and tools that shaped Viking life. Imagine simple but sturdy wooden plows, iron-tipped and worn smooth by years of tilling, cutting through the heavy Scandinavian soil. The earthy scent of freshly turned earth mingles with the faint tang of sea salt carried on the breeze. Fields of barley, rye, and oats stretch toward the horizon, their stalks golden in the harvest sun. Farmers, clad in russet and teal, work steadily with wooden forks and sickles, each movement deliberate and slow. It's a laborious rhythm, punctuated by pauses to wipe brows or exchange quiet words. Tools are cherished and repaired carefully. A cracked wooden handle or dulled blade might mean days of slowed work. Woodworkers and blacksmiths labor nearby, crafting and mending the implements essential for survival. Here's a quirky detail. Vikings sometimes planted crops in staggered rows to minimize erosion and maximize moisture retention. A surprisingly advanced technique. Historians still debate how widely such practices were applied versus simpler, traditional methods. As you feel the texture of soil beneath calloused hands, hear the distant lowing of cattle, and watch dust rise softly from footsteps. You're immersed in the gentle toil that sustained a way of life through quiet seasons. As the day unfolds slowly, turn your attention to the animals that share the Viking farmstead, the cows, sheep, pigs, and chickens that form an essential thread in this rural tapestry. Imagine waking to the soft bleating of sheep, the steady lowing of cattle, and the occasional cluck of chickens in a sun-dappled yard bordered by rough stone walls. Farmers in indigo and russet tunics carefully tend to these creatures, leading them to pastures lush with spring grasses or feeding them from woven baskets filled with grain. The animals are more than food. They are partners in survival, sources of milk, wool, and labor. The care of livestock requires patience and routine milking cows with practiced hands, shearing sheep under gentle sunlight, and repairing pens with wooden stakes and rough-hewn boards. Each animal is woven into daily rhythms, and their well-being reflects the health of the farm itself. A quirky tidbit. Vikings believed certain animals, like cats and goats, possessed protective spirits, guarding the farmstead from misfortune. Historians still argue how much of this was practical animal husbandry versus spiritual belief. But these stories add warmth to the quiet life. Imagine the peaceful sounds of animals mingling with the soft rustling of leaves and the distant lap of water. A calming chorus that lulls the day gently onward. You're now settling deeper into the steady rhythm of Viking farm life. So let's move into the warm hearth and kitchen where food is prepared with care. Imagine a large stone hearth crackling softly. Its amber flames cast as flickering shadows on rough wooden beams and woven rush mats. The scent of roasting meat mingles with fragrant herbs drying nearby. Simple tools, wooden bowls, iron pots, and hand-carved spoons are scattered across a wide oak table. Women in russet and saffron dresses stir thick stews of barley, cabbage, and salted fish, while flatbreads bake slowly in embers. Food preservation is vital. Salted meats hang in the rafters, and dried berries and herbs are tucked in woven baskets. Cooking is both necessity and ritual, a slow process linking generations. Meals provide not just energy, but comfort after long days of toil. The soft murmur of voices and occasional laughter weave through the warm air. A quirky tidbit. Vikings sometimes flavored their food with juniper berries or wild garlic. Tastes foreign to modern palates, but essential for masking the saltiness of preserved meats. Historians still debate how much spices and herbs were used compared to the simple staples. Imagine this kitchen glow as a hearthside lullaby, inviting you to breathe deeply and feel the slow warmth of home, nourishing both body and soul. The day moves on quietly as your mind drifts to the clothing and textiles that clothe the Viking farmstead. Picture the soft textures of wool and linen, spun and woven by skilled hands into tunics, cloaks, and simple dresses in muted indigo, russet, saffron, and teal. These garments are sturdy yet comfortable, dyed with natural pigments from plants and minerals. Women, often the primary weavers and spinners, sit beside wooden spinning wheels or simple distaffs, twisting fibers into thread with rhythmic patience. The scent of lanolin and herbs lingers in the air, as flax and sheep's wool are transformed into fabric, essential for warmth during cold Scandinavian winters. Small tools like bone needles, wooden combs, and iron scissors are scattered nearby, symbols of the quiet artistry involved in daily life. Clothing was repaired carefully, patched and hemmed, ensuring garments lasted through harsh seasons. A quirky fact: Vikings sometimes decorated their clothes with tiny metal beads or embroidery, adding subtle glimmers of gilded detail, much like their illuminated manuscripts. Historians still debate how widespread such embellishments were outside elite circles, but they add a touch of quiet elegance to rural life. Imagine these soft colors and textures wrapping around you like a gentle, protective cloak, weaving warmth and comfort as you settle deeper into rest. As the day slowly wanes, imagine the quiet spaces where crafting and repairs take place, woodwork and benches strewn with shavings, iron tools carefully laid out on woven mats, Vikings, clad in russet and indigo, attend patiently to shaping timber and mending household items, their hands steady and practiced. Blacksmiths hammer softly in shaded corners, sparks flying gently. Craft as nails, tools, and weapon parts essential for farm life and protection. Wooden buckets, wicker baskets, and iron fire tongs receive careful attention, ensuring they're ready for the next day's tasks. Crafting is both practical and meditative, a slow process that connects the maker to their environment. The steady rhythm of hammering and carving mingles with the distant calls of birds and the rustle of leaves. A quirky tidbit: some woodworkers used intricate knot patterns in repairs and decoration, echoing the Norse love for detailed art seen in jewelry and manuscripts. Historians still debate how much such artistry appeared in everyday farm objects versus ceremonial items. Picture this soft clinking and tapping as a lullaby of craftsmanship, a quiet testament to human care and creativity in even the simplest tools. You're now gently drifting into the fabric of social structure on the Viking farm, where roles and hierarchy intertwine quietly like the threads of a well-worn tapestry. Imagine family members clad in teal and saffron, each fulfilling tasks essential to the household's survival. From the eldest patriarch quietly overseeing plans to the youngest children learning by watching. Respect and cooperation define the rhythm here. Decisions made around wooden tables. Voices soft but steady. Laughter blending with shared stories. Neighbors occasionally gather, exchanging news or lending hands during harvest or construction, reinforcing community bonds in a world shaped by nature's rhythms. A quirky tidbit: some Viking farms maintained honorary roles, like the Thane, a respected servant with specific duties, whose authority balanced family hierarchy. Historians still debate how formal these roles were on small farms compared to larger estates. As you breathe in this calm scene, imagine the slow dance of daily life, where every voice and hand matters, creating harmony beneath the vast Scandinavian sky. You're drifting softly now into the gentle cycle of seasons and festivals that mark time on a Viking farm. Imagine the harvest sun warming golden fields of barley, while families prepare for Yule. The winter festival filled with quiet rituals and the warmth of firelit gatherings. The turning of the year brings moments of reflection and celebration feasts where slow songs echo and mead flows in modest cups. Fields lie fallow under snow, and days shorten to a hush, inviting stories by the hearth and silent prayers to nature's spirits. A quirky tidbit. Vikings believed that certain festivals connected them to the gods and ancestors, with sacred fires kept alive to protect the community. Historians still debate the exact rituals and their meanings, but these slow, seasonal rhythms shaped life's flow. Imagine the soft glow of candles and the scent of pine. As the farm breathes in harmony with the turning earth, an ancient lullaby of time itself. Now, as you drift deeper, picture the humble trade and barter that linked the Viking farm to the wider world. Imagine a quiet marketplace nestled among pine trees, where farmers in russet and teal cloaks offer barley, wool, and handcrafted tools to traveling merchants. Goods are exchanged slowly and deliberately. Bundles of flax for iron nails, jars of honey for woven baskets. Conversations are gentle, marked by smiles and nods rather than loud bargaining. The air filled with the scent of dried herbs and fresh earth. A quirky tidbit, Vikings sometimes used whetstones or finely wrought jewelry as barter, showing a practical creativity in trade. Historians still argue how extensive these local exchanges were compared to the grander voyages we often hear about. As you imagine this slow dance of exchange, feel the soft pulse of connection, quiet ties, binding farms and villages into a resilient network. You're gently floating further into Viking life, focusing now on the essential roles of women on the farm. Picture a woman in a deep indigo dress, her hands deftly spinning wool beside a fire, her face serene and focused as she shapes thread for clothing and trade. Women manage the household with quiet strength, preparing meals, brewing ale, caring for children, and tending gardens. Their work weaves the daily fabric of survival and comfort, balancing the demands of farm life with moments of laughter and storytelling. Here's a quirky tidbit. Some women were also skilled healers, mixing herbs and potions, blending care and wisdom. Historians still debate how much autonomy women held, but their contribution to farm life was undeniable and multifaceted. Imagine the soft rhythm of spinning wheels, the warmth of the hearth, and the gentle hum of domestic life as you drift deeper into rest. You're now slowly immersed in the world of child rearing and education on the Viking farm. Imagine a mother in russet and saffron robes sitting by the hearth, teaching her children simple skills, spinning wool, tending animals, and telling stories that carry the wisdom of generations. Children learn through observation and gentle guidance, absorbing the rhythms of farm life. Their days are filled with play that imitates work, and tales of gods and heroes shared in soft tones by firelight. A quirky tidbit: Viking children sometimes carried tiny wooden swords during play, preparing early for the adult world in a slow, unhurried way. Historians still debate how formal their education was versus hands-on learning. Picture the warmth of a quiet home, filled with laughter and lessons passed gently from hand to hand, a timeless lullaby of growth. You're now easing into the quiet world of weapons and defense on the Viking farmstead. Imagine a sturdy wooden rack against a timber wall, holding iron-tipped spears, shields painted in muted indigo and russet, and a carefully maintained axe resting within reach. Though mostly peaceful, farmsteads needed protection against wild animals and occasional raiders. Farmers kept weapons close, not for daily battle, but for defense, a subtle but essential part of survival. The hum of sharpening stones and the scent of oiled wood speak of readiness without haste. A quirky detail: some weapons bore simple carvings or personal marks, reflecting not just function, but identity and pride. Historians still debate how often these tools were used in conflict versus symbolizing status. Imagine the calm vigilance of a quiet farm, where strength lies in patience, and preparedness is a gentle guard as night falls. You're settling deeper now into the spiritual world of Viking farm life, where religion and belief weave softly through everyday moments. Imagine a small outdoor shrine nestled among birch trees, adorned with carved wooden idols painted in soft teal and saffron, and offerings of bread, mead, and herbs laid carefully upon a stone altar. Farmers and families pause in their routines to honor the gods of land, sea, and harvest, whispering prayers for protection and prosperity. Nature itself feels alive, a quiet presence in the rustle of leaves and the shimmer of sunlight on the water. A quirky tidbit: some Vikings believed that certain stones or trees held spirits that could be appeased for good fortune, blending animism with Norse mythology. Historians still debate how personal or communal these beliefs were. Imagine the gentle reverence in these quiet acts, a soft thread connecting humans and nature, grounding life in a comforting, timeless embrace. Now, as your mind drifts softly, picture the moments of entertainment and storytelling that fill the quieter hours on the Viking farm. Imagine a group gathered around a flickering hearth inside the longhouse, their faces bathed in warm amber light as a skilled storyteller weaves tales of gods, heroes, and distant lands. Children sit wide-eyed, wrapped in woven cloaks dyed in indigo and russet, while elders nod knowingly, sipping mild mead from simple wooden cups. Lutes and simple flutes add gentle melodies to the soft murmur of voices, creating a lullaby of culture and memory. Here's a quirky tidbit: some Viking stories were deliberately slow-paced, designed to ease the mind and prepare listeners for restful sleep. Historians still debate how much these tales influence daily behavior versus pure entertainment. Imagine the soft cadence of voices and music mingling with the crackle of fire. A gentle balm to soothe body and soul as night deepens. You're now slowly enveloped in the challenges of Viking farming, the harsh realities beneath the calm surface. Picture cold, gray skies and biting winds whipping over frost-hardened fields. The earth frozen and unyielding beneath a thin layer of snow. Farmers in thick woolen cloaks, russet and teal, battle-biting pests, and unpredictable weather that threaten their crops. Simple wooden fences stand guard against roaming wild animals, while farmers use hand-forged iron tools to coax life from stubborn soil. A quirky detail, some Vikings practiced crop rotation and planted hardy vegetables to cope with harsh conditions, an early form of sustainable farming. Historians still debate how advanced these techniques truly were versus trial and error survival. Imagine the stoic patience of these quiet struggles. A testament to human resilience and the slow dance with nature's whims. You're gently carried now into the wider world, where Norse expansion subtly touches even the quiet farmstead. Imagine ships with carved dragon heads resting in fjords far from the farm, their sails furled as crews prepare for journeys to distant lands. Back home, farmers gather news of these voyages, their faces a mixture of awe and quiet pride. Trade goods brought from abroad, a piece of silk, a foreign coin, or exotic spices become prized treasures, slowly altering local life. Yet, the rhythms of the farm continue undisturbed, the quiet toil beneath ever-changing skies. A quirky tidbit, some farmers sent sons off on voyages, blending peaceful farming life with bold adventure. Historians still debate how widespread this mingling of worlds truly was. Imagine the distant roar of waves mingling with the soft crackle of fires. The farmstead quietly connected to a vast, unfolding saga. You're now softly immersed in the whispers of the past revealed through archaeology, uncovering the lives of Viking farmers. Imagine dusty excavation sites beneath cold Scandinavian skies, where careful hands brush away centuries of soil to reveal wooden tools, pottery shards, and the remains of longhouses. Archaeologists in muted indigo and russet garments catalog finds spindle whorls, iron knives, and grain storage pits, each artifact telling a slow story of daily toil and quiet resilience. Nearby, faint traces of hearth fires and animal bones hint at meals shared and lives lived. A quirky tidbit. Some burial sites include small wooden toys or amulets, suggesting the importance of family and belief. Historians still debate how accurately these remains capture the full scope of Viking farm life. Picture the slow unveiling of these treasures as a gentle unfoldment of memory, connecting you softly to a world both distant and deeply familiar. You're nearing the close of this calm journey, so let's reflect on the enduring legacy of Viking rural life, a story of quiet strength and steady continuity. Imagine the fading light casting long shadows over fields that have been tended for centuries. The same soil cradling generations of farmers in indigo and russet cloaks. This legacy is not just in artifacts or tales, but in the rhythms that continue today. Seasonal planting, caring for animals, and the warmth of home fires. The Viking farmers' resilience and connection to the land whisper softly through time, inviting us to slow down and appreciate the steady pulse beneath history's roar. A quirky thought, many modern Scandinavian customs, from midsummer celebrations to food traditions, echo these ancient practices, a living thread from past to present. Historians still debate how much early Viking life shaped contemporary culture, but the quiet influence is undeniable. As you drift deeper, imagine yourself walking slowly through those timeless fields, wrapped in the gentle embrace of history's softest echoes. Now, as your breath slows and your thoughts soften, let the gentle story of the Viking farmer settle softly within you, like the evening mist over quiet Scandinavian fields. This isn't a tale of battles or kings, but of steady hands and patient hearts, weaving a life in tune with nature's slow rhythm. Imagine the soft crackle of peat fires, the muted colors of woolen cloaks, and the quiet hum of spinning wheels, simple comforts that carried families through long winters and sunlit summers alike. These rhythms remind us that strength often lies in quiet endurance, and that the slow passing of days holds its own kind of magic. Your mind can now drift among stone walls and wooden beams, fields of barley swaying gently in the breeze, and hearthside stories told in whispers. You are connected to a long line of hands that shaped the land and nurtured life with calm purpose. So breathe deeply, sink into your pillow, and feel the peace of centuries flowing through you. The Viking farmer's world invites you to rest, to find stillness and comfort in simplicity, and to carry this calm into your dreams. Good night.